It might take at 10. How do you solve a problem like Prince Andrew? Oh dear, the problematic prince strikes again. It has emerged that someone described as a close confidant of the Duke of York, Prince Andrew, has been banned from entering the United Kingdom on national security grounds, amid concerns that he may have been acting as a spy for the Chinese Communist Party. Officials warned the then Home Secretary last year that the man known only as H6, John le Carré, eat your heart out, had been in a position to generate relationships between prominent UK figures and senior Chinese officials that could, and I quote, be leveraged for political interference purposes. Now, H6, shall we call him Ian? Ian was invited to the Duke's birthday party in 2020 and was told by Andrew's aide, Dominic Hampshire, that he could help in potential dealings with Chinese investors. A judge ruled that the Chinese businessman, Ian, had an unusual degree of trust from Prince Andrew. Now, we cannot verify that that is the case, and the Duke is not here to defend himself. But we do know that Andrew invited this alleged spy to Buckingham Palace, with the entrepreneur allegedly attending events not only at the King's official residence, but at St James's Palace and Windsor Castle to book. Now, the Duke's office said the following. The Duke of York followed advice from Her Majesty's government and ceased all contact with the individual after concerns were raised. The Duke met the individual through official channels with nothing of a sensitive nature ever being discussed. He is unable to comment further on matters relating to national security. But the problem is that whilst the Duke of York is known for his rather colourful private life, earning him the nickname Randy Andy, it may be his finances rather than his libido which is of the greatest concern. After all, the Telegraph newspaper report that the royal family have taken steps over the summer to distance themselves from the Duke, with the King said to have axed his £1 million annual living allowance and his security detail. It's not known, therefore, how the Duke is paying for his upkeep at the posh Royal Lodge on the Windsor estate. Now, the journalist Andrew Lowney has spent the last 4 years working on a new book about the Duke and has spoken of his concerns about the lack of transparency around Andrew's finances. What's going on? Now, this author has said that government departments are doing anything to avoid sharing information about the Duke's business dealings, which is a problem given Andrew's friendship with an alleged Chinese spy, with Ian. Clearly, the Chinese would relish the influence of the late Queen Elizabeth's son and King Charles's brother, but what might he get in return? Now, Andrew could be as innocent as the driven snow, and there is no suggestion that he knew of Ian's alleged links to Beijing or that there was any financial relationship between them. He would no doubt deny any impropriety whatsoever. But the rap sheet against this, in my view, foolish and arrogant man grows longer by the day. There was his friendship with known paedophile Jeffrey Epstein, and that car crash Newsnight interview in which he claimed to have a disorder in which he doesn't sweat. Well, he is sweating now as questions emerge about his friendship circle. That's not a euphemism, by the way. This is a man who settled out of court to the tune of millions against his accuser, Virginia Giuffre, who said that she was forced to have relations with him when she was just 17 years old, which, let me be clear, the prince strongly denies. Fair enough. But either way, like his nephew Harry, Andrew is a bad headline machine and a total liability. To make matters worse, Andrew is reportedly considering writing a book. Well, frankly, that's good news, as I'm a bit low on loo roll at the moment, and I could do with a doorstep. To be fair, it might shift a few copies in the children's section of Waterstones. Amid the speculation, what is abundantly clear is that Prince Andrew lacks wise judgment and has the worst possible taste in friends. Not just this alleged Chinese spy, our good friend Ian, but the aforementioned Jeffrey Epstein, at whose vast Florida mansion Andrew spent weeks. Now, that was before the shocking revelations about Big Jeff actually emerged. But notwithstanding that, Andrew even met Epstein after he was released from prison following convictions for child prostitution. The two men were pictured in December 2010. There, you'll see that photo there. Pictured in December 2010, strolling together in Central Park when Andrew was visiting New York City. How romantic. Now, the prince severed all ties with Epstein after that, but by then, the damage was done. And damage is this guy's middle name, having brought embarrassment and scandal on his own family and the country, seemingly without an ounce of contrition. Our modernising dynamic king, Charles III, wants to have a slimmed-down monarchy. What a great idea. Well, the first lump of unwanted fat he should get rid of is his brother Andrew. Using the internet without a VPN is a bit like taking to the road without car insurance. All it takes is one unlucky moment to cost you a lot of cash. We want to help protect you. This video's sponsor, Private Internet Access, is the VPN to help keep you safe. Now, you might be asking, what is a VPN? Well, a virtual private network is an app that hides your IP address and safeguards your internet connection through an encrypted tunnel. This way, it shields your digital life from the eyes of those that are looking to exploit your private information. Whenever you connect to the internet on a public Wi-Fi network, such as at airports, coffee shops, friends' houses, or even in your own home, your data is at risk of being stolen. Hackers that are connected to the same Wi-Fi network have the ability to steal your personal data with ease. T-Mobile reached a settlement this year with the US Federal Communications Commission after they suffered data breaches in 2021, 22, and 23. In 2023 alone, over 37 million customers' data was exposed. And it's not just hackers to be concerned about. Information can be censored. When Canada passed their C-18 bill, social media giants decided to ban news content on their platforms. But PIA can protect your ability to consume the news content that you love. Private Internet Access is available for all platforms: Windows, macOS, Android, Linux, iOS, and you can use one Private Internet Access subscription to protect an unlimited number of devices at the same time. Plus, we've got a huge GBNews discount. Click the link in this video's description and you'll get 83% off PIA. That is under £2 a month, and you'll get an extra 4 months completely free. There's also a 30-day money-back guarantee. So head to piavpn.com/GBNews to start protecting yourself digitally today. How do you solve a problem like Prince Andrew? What should the king do? Let me know your thoughts. GBNews.com/your say. First up, tonight's top pundits. TV fitness legend and the green goddess herself, Diana Moran, respected academic and political commentator Dr. Lisa McKenzie, and leading journalist and communications advisor Linda Jubilee. OK, well, listen, I mean, you want to get rid of all the royals, don't you, Lisa?
I've got a perfect answer to the question.
Go for it.
The question is, what do we do with a problem like Prince Andrew? Guillotine.
Wow, is that a bit harsh?
No.
That's a little brutal?
He's a greedy, stupid man. And actually, I do wonder if he's not the only...
He speaks well of you, you know.
Yeah, well, I'm sure he does.
You're off his Christmas card list now.
I think I'm probably too old for him.
I don't think you could resist. You could resist your charms. But I mean, the point is that the guy hasn't broken a single law. OK. A lot of the issues that are sort of laid at his door are speculation and hearsay, aren't they?
No, they are not. We don't know what he has done. We know that he's been protected, he's been looked after all his life. Is there any dodgy bloke in the world he hasn't been friends with? It's a Chinese spy this week. It was a American billionaire paedophile, a few years ago. Who's next? He's a greedy man that likes free things.
Now, Linda, you covered the royal beat for many years on Fleet Street.
I did.
This is an ongoing headache for the king, isn't it?
The thing I think that's really dangerous for the royal family isn't that everyone's going to be up in arms and really angry and really on top of this story in that way. He's a laughing stock. He's turned this into a satire. Yep. People are laughing about the royal family and the goings-on at Buckingham Palace. Not specifically, of course, about King Charles. They won't do that. Or definitely not Kate Middleton, who has had such a stellar year, an incredibly brave woman. But he has exposed them to ridicule. That's really the most damaging thing.
Isn't it difficult? Because you look at his siblings, Diana. You look at Anne, who is a chip off her mother's block.
Wonderful.
A dignified, hard-working woman.
You bet.
Then you've got Edward, who is also an enterprising chap and acquits himself well, happily married, lovely family. Yeah. Then you've got our king, who's devoted his life to public service. What went wrong with Andrew?
Well, I just don't know, because one of my sons was at Dartmouth, a midshipman with Prince Andrew for those 3 or so years, and I assumed he was a right-on guy.
And was your son under Prince Andrew at any point?
No, they were alongside one another. They were midshipmen together. They were equals. But what amazes me is why... there's so much security, as we know, around the royal family. Why isn't somebody advising him all the time, pulling him up, taking him away?
Because I think he's beyond that. You look at the interview with Emily Maitlis. Yeah. The palace didn't even know it was going to happen. He's just a loose cannon.
And is it true that they thought it had gone well at the end of the interview?
He did.
He did, didn't he?
Yes. And his comms person did.
Yeah.
They both did in their own little bubble.
Although, he's not here to defend himself, Diana. I mean, is this trial by media to a certain extent? Am I guilty of that with the Take It 10 you've just listened to?
Well, we've certainly added to it by talking about it now. But, I mean, he just seems so foolish that he's just going from one catastrophe to another.
You almost couldn't make it up. It's almost like some kind of, I don't know, in the thick of it, Buckingham Palace style. It's some kind of horrendous sitcom.
OK, well, we're no doubt going to return to this, but let me tell you that even the government have got involved and they're concerned about our national security. Here's the Home Secretary addressing the Commons this week.
Well, our security and intelligence agencies are continually vigilant for any threat to UK national security, whether that be around foreign influence, whether it be around espionage, whether it be around any security threat. And so, of course, we won't hesitate to take action in individual cases or more widely wherever any challenge arises.
Home Secretary there, not actually addressing the Commons, but perhaps on holiday in front of a French chateau. I hope she had a good time.